Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Now, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm Ashley.
I'm Brian Strand.
Nice to virtually meet you.
Recorded, like, I think we're doing this a few weeks before whenever things
We'll
done.
talk to you at the Q&A.
Yep. I'm going to say a couple things real quick. My wife, I don't know if you can tell, obviously you won't be able to, but she just had a baby like less than 3
22 days ago.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, like today. And that little guy is sleeping like right behind us on the couch. So if we pause in the middle and have to run take care of him, just know that it's just part
Technical
of
difficulties.
Technical difficulties. So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we're so glad you're here because I actually am a certified holistic health coach, and I had my own weight loss journey and realized it had nothing to do with the food. Obviously, we're going to go over, like, there are things that work for different types. Like for me, clean eating was really good for me with, like, cycling some fun food. But we're not even going to talk about food at all, because that's the point of this training, right? Of this summit is it's so much more than that.
Yeah. And on top of the holistic health stuff, we're certified in the personalities,
human behavior.
Human behavior consultants. She remembers these things better than I do.
We are strength finders, human behavior, life coaches, business coaches.
We've gone through a bunch of different schooling stuff over the years.
But it was all because we realized that your habits and your emotional mastery is what runs everything.
Yeah.
Based off your personality and your emotional mastery. So let's dive in.
Yeah, I'm going to start because I think we only have like a half hour for this. So
I don't know.
I'm going to start with this. I'm going to go start that. And of course I started at the end. That's technical difficulties. Let's start there.
It's okay.
And there's our picture again. So now,
in case that was how good I looked before kids.
I don't think she looks any different. So yes, of course, welcome. We are Brian Ashley Strand, and I'm going to start with something really basic right off the bat. And I would normally be asking this live, but I guess it'd be kind of more rhetorical. So think about this: when you look at these lists, you look at the diets on the left, the fitness on the right, and I would like to ask, which one of these work? And you can take a look. The bottom two are my favorite on both sides. It's the screw it, I love the way I look no matter what I eat diet. And I also ascribe to the fitness plan of screw it, I love the way I look no matter what I eat workout. But I always like to kind of point out, there's a lot. And actually, I have a couple of interesting statistics. And I know that makes some people's eyes glaze over when I use that word, but we'll get into why that is here in a little bit. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's so much stuff out there when it comes to, hey, this is the diet that really works. Hey, this is the fitness routine that really works, right? And we take such a we take such a like an objective approach to our health. Like we're looking at the outside world and trying to see.
Typically take it objectively.
Yeah, typically, what we've seen with most of our clients in the past in regards to like their health and their fitness journey, their wellness journey, is they're always like, well, what do you do? Or what have you seen work? And so on and so forth.
What's the secret?
What's the secret? And things like that. And so we're taking this outwardly like worldview look of like what works, and then just throwing whatever we can at the wall sometimes to see what sticks. And we'll get into, actually, there's some statistics behind that here. I'll show you here in a little bit. But I always like to show this with a lot of my different trainings because it's so applicable. And what you can see is you have a monkey, a penguin, an elephant, a fish, a seal, and I think that's a wolf or a coyote or something like that.
Dog.
A dog. Sure, we'll go with dog. And a guy saying, for a fair selection of everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. And you could see how some of these animals wouldn't be able to do it at all, and some of them would excel at it. And so my whole point with bringing this one up is this is typically was actually used for our education system of saying this is how we're approaching education wrong. And so I think the whole point of looking at something like this is, if it's not a smart way to approach our education system of having the same thing applied to everybody, then why do we see so many people doing the exact same thing for their health and their wellness or their diet or what exercise to do?
Honestly, I think most people coming to this get that. They realize like it needs to be unique to me. It's mind, body, spirit. It's not just one way to eat and drink and exercise.
Right. So that's why I kind of want to flip that from the objective, like looking out in the world and starting with like what plan or what exercise or what routine or what might work. Let's go back to who we are, who we were made to be, and start with the person, the individual, and then start looking at the world through that lens of the person, of who you were made to be, and then go from there. Let's go back here. Yeah. So we need to find something that's unique to you. You need to find something that's unique to you. the approach of how we get health and get healthy and diets and exercise, things like that, like I said, needs to be catered to the individual. There's no one diet exercise plan that's applicable for absolutely everybody. Even if you go and there's some specialist who's creating something, you fill out some sort of whatever questionnaire thing, and then they say, oh, here's the perfect diet plan for you, or here's the perfect exercise plan for you. It's still that outwardly view. You need to start with yourself and get yourself
self-knowledge.
Yeah,
we really preach this. And by the way, don't feel like you have to be scribbling down these notes or screenshotting it. We actually are going to give you all these slides along with a way to take an assessment to find out who you are behaviorally, that will make sense with this training. Okay. So, and if you need more info, you can always just reach out to us. But so the website, and we'll put it up at the end, but the website to get these slides is Unleashing Your Dreams, Unleashing, UNLEASHING YOUR dreams within us.com/me.
Because you got to start with you and understanding you. like the next bullet point, we need to understand what's motivating you as an individual. Otherwise, it can. I think maybe a lot of people can relate to this. It starts with this almost like this emotional thing. Like hey, I'm gonna get like Ashley. I love her to death. It's like tomorrow, gluten-free. I'm not gonna do gluten.
I don't do that anymore. That was my cycle for like 10 years.
Right. So this is kind of the statistics that I was going to bring up, and there's actually a poll done by Independent. That the average person in their lifetime will try 126 fad diets, and most of them quit within 6 days.
How many have you tried?
How many have you tried? And it's actually so bad that people in this survey, they actually reported that 1 in 20 would be willing to eat a tapeworm just to burn calories. And if you think that sounds crazy, that's actually an advertisement on the right-hand side for a weight loss.
Is that from like the 20s or 30s?
I don't know. It's not too far. It can't be far enough back because that's ridiculous.
Oh, and by the way, if you hear faint screaming, it's our other two children with the babysitter.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
So, all right. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. So I'm going to kick this over to Ashley now for this next part, but I kind of, like I said, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to you and who you were created to be. And Ashley has a really super simple way of explaining that. And I'll
basically what we're going to do is now, this is not as good as the actual. Could you tell them to just quiet down just a smidge?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I can't think. Okay. So, this is going to go over how you are, who you are, but the assessment will take it further. We're going to send a link to take a really in-depth assessment in that same website that we talked about. Okay. So first question. This is all about how you're wired and your motor. Okay. So, and you can tell if you're more fast-paced or slower paced than other people typically. So are you fast-paced and outgoing, or are you more slower paced and reserved? Now I know nobody wants to be put in a box. So don't worry, we're not putting you in a box, because there's 41 different varieties of how many percentages you have of each of these styles. So, but write down just gut instinct. If you had to say today, you can change your mind tomorrow, but if you had to say right now, would you say you're more fast-paced and outgoing or slower paced and reserved? Write it down. Or
you can tell which one she is.
Fast-paced, outgoing.
Fast-paced, outgoing.
Okay. Yeah. And then next one, the second question you're going to ask yourself, and I have a backup if you're not sure, you're going to ask yourself, am I more task-oriented or people-oriented? The backup for this, now I'm going to add a few other things. Task-oriented people love lists and details and getting the job done. People-oriented people love people. They're always going to be the first one to say, who can I talk to or who can I support, right? So, and if you're still not sure, if you were raking the leaves, which Ashley she's not a big fan of this analogy. Because there's no leaves in Arizona,
yeah, right.
Let's say this, you needed to get the leaves raked. It's not like it's super urgent, but it's been on your to-do list. And the neighbor comes up and wants to have coffee. Do you drop everything, go have the coffee? And don't go, well, it depends on if I like the neighbor or not.
No,
it's just
in a vacuum. It's like a math question that never exists. This is the same thing.
Do you want to be with people, or do you want to get your tasks done?
Yep. Are you going to drop you're going to drop it right there and be like, we're going to get coffee. I know the best place. And go from there.
And it's okay if you're you are like almost 50-50 on this, but which one do you lean towards?
Yeah, 51%, 49% even.
Which one do you prefer?
Right.
Okay, so if you said, now I'm not used to doing it like this where I'm on the screen, but so outgoing and task, if you said you were fast-paced, outgoing, and task-oriented, remember that you're a D. That stands for dominant. Jot that down or in your mind. If you said you were fast-paced, outgoing, and people-oriented, you are an I, which stands for inspiring. If you are reserved and task-oriented, that stands for C, calculating. And if you're reserved and people-oriented, that stands for supportive, S. Okay,
Yep.
so just jot that down. Again, we'll
What
send
you
you an
think you are.
assessment.
Yeah. And the one thing about this one, this is the reason why I asked, because actually we've done how many different variations
my-
of different things like this. That
Oh
we've
my
done,
gosh, we've done Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram,
Strength Finders. We did.
everything. And this is the most simple
Simple.
for understanding yourself and for understanding others.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we like this one is the simplicity of it is to be able to ask 2 questions of yourself and maybe even pick it up from other people, thinking like, okay, are they more fast paced and outgoing, or are they
You can
more
actually
slow-paced,
ask your
reserved?
clients this if you're an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
or your children or your spouse or people at church, whatever. You can find out how people are wired and actually relate to them quicker.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
It's really great for connection and understanding yourself and how you relate to others, how you come across to others, and maybe understanding like, hey, since there's different types of people, maybe the way that they do something is not like they're just being a jerk or they're being mean or they're just absent-minded or they're just lazy. They're just a different personality style, and we need to know how to talk with them on their level. So if you have clients that you're working with for like health and fitness and wellness and things like that, seeing them through the lens of this is extremely helpful.
Okay,
okay, we're gonna go through each one individually real quick.
Now, we're gonna let me catch you up here really quick, because I know we like to go on tangents sometimes.
We do.
So
We got time though.
well, I don't know.
We got 20 minutes. I got.
Do we?
Yeah,
Okay.
almost.
What we're gonna do is go through the each type, and some of them might hit you, some of them might not. Don't worry about that.
Very rarely does each word that we put in here is going to be like absolutely 100% every one of those.
Yeah, because we're all a blend, right? But just and again, don't worry, you're going to get the slides of this. And then towards the end, we're going to go over the tips of how to kind of change your habits or
personality shifts or like sorry, perspective
or
shifts.
to master your health and wellness using the strengths of your personality and behavior type.
Yep. So I'm going to do the ones that are more relevant to me, and Ashley's going to do the ones that are more relevant to her. So I'm more of a D type personality, which means I'm more outgoing, faster pace, and I'm more task oriented. I love checklists and things like that. So what's great is another thing that makes this so simple and easy to understand is the descriptive words all start with a D. So they're very dominant personality styles. They are walking into a room and they're going to try to take charge. And there's an emergency. They're going to be the one that's like, everyone calm down and follow me. I read the pamphlet. I know what to do. We're going to go out this door, one person at a time. They're going to take charge of a situation. They're also very direct and to the point. They are not going to waste time, worrying about feelings as much. They're going to get right directly to the point. They're going to be very demanding of people, which means that they have an expectation of what they think that people should be doing or what should be done, and they demand that people get to that level. They're going to be very decisive. They're going to take actions quick. Might not be the best action, might not be the best decision that they make, but they're going to make it quick. They're very determined. Once they get a goal in mind, they're going to go right at it, and they're not going to stop until it's done. They're going to be doers. They like to get stuff done. Now, this last one that's going to be in red, there's balance, right? Because you have people who can be. You can have 2 types of people that are Ds. They're both super high Ds, and they can be almost like they're completely different. And what I mean by that is there can be out of balance D type personalities. Every one of them can be out of balance. And there's ones that are more in balance and understand this stuff a little bit more, and they know how to approach situations more maturely. So the one at the end that's red is more indicative of somebody who's maybe a little out of balance if they're super high.
Super stressed.
Or super stressed. Yeah. And that would be defiant. You don't tell me what to do. How dare you tell me what to do? I'm going to do what I want to do. So that would be like a high D. So I'll kick it over to Ashley for the
that is my dominant type. I actually have it at 100%. And by the way, the percentage on the assessment really matters because they'll let you know anything that's above 50%. But if you have it 50 versus 100%, That's a
It's
big
big.
difference.
So like, yeah, even like for my, so like my highest is a D, but it's only at like 60. So I'm kind of, I'm a little something weird, which
He's a
will,
little bit more of a balance, but
Yeah.
I had this at 100. And so every single one of these words,
is like,
I'm like, yep. Okay. So, well, and that one seems, I don't know why, whenever I say, yeah, I'm inspiring, it seems like
Yeah.
egotistical, but apparently I'm inspiring.
well, you inspire people to take actions on things when
That's
you're in,
true.
yeah.
Okay. Influencing,
Yeah.
impressionable.
Goes both ways.
Yeah.
Interactive,
Interactive,
very dynamic with her
impressive.
actions. Yes. She's
I
very,
came from acting.
yes.
In case you can't tell, involved.
They want-
And when I get out of, oh, go
Well,
ahead.
I want to say with the involved one, it's like when we're out in like social situations, or even
Mm.
like, let's say in like in situations where she's at the health food store, or and somebody's like, I wonder if this is good. And she's like, she's going to look over at what it is. She's going to know what the ingredients are. And she's going to go, yeah, so that is not quite so good because it has these, it has, Ace K, and it's like certain ingredients are not that great. You want to avoid that. And she just involves herself in situations very
So
quickly.
all of these have pros and cons, right?
Right. And when you get out of balance, you are
Illogical. What? Not me.
no, not you at all. No, yes. So when she gets out of balance, she can get quite illogical. And outgoing people-oriented individuals can get very illogical.
Okay. Now, S is my third.
It's my fourth.
He's working now. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
trying to.
Actually, D, the dominant, is my secondary. This is my third. But a lot of my friends are this. So I feel like I know this one really well. So supportive types, they are steady, stable, sweet. Status quo means they typically like things to stay the same. If it ain't
They find a
broke,
routine.
don't fix it.
Right.
And they can be shy, not always.
When they get to know you, though.
Oh yeah, once they get to know you, like, so they're people oriented, right? They want to talk, but if they don't have I very high or D, let's say they're an SC, which you'll learn what that means. They are going to be the second one to talk to you because they're just a little more reserved.
Yeah, we had a friend at church that's a very high S, and she was actually like hovering around us. It was the first time that they were ever there. And so she was kind of hovering around Ashley. She could see that Ashley was very, and very outgoing, very people oriented, very fast paced. And she could tell that if I align myself with this particular individual, that I'm going to feel more comfortable because she's going to break down all of
break the ice.
Yeah. And so she really was attracted to someone like Ashley because she was just really nice to see somebody that was more free and outgoing and boisterous and all these fun things. And she was actually like hovering around Ashley to the point where I was like, I think she wants to talk with you. And then as soon as Ashley started talking to her, she's a talker, right? So
and they calm me down. They slow me down a little
bit. But what happens?
When your dominant type is the S supportive type, when you get out of balance, you can be susceptible, which means you have a hard time saying no to people.
No is the hardest word in the English language for you to say. Yeah.
Especially if you have this very high. But again, that's only if you're super out of balance or super stressed. You just feel like you want to say yes to everyone. There you go.
Yep. All right.
On that one.
I'm moving on to the last one, which is Ashley's lowest. I think you're at 3%.
I think I only have 3% of this
one out of 100, obviously. These are the task-oriented, more reserved, slower-paced individuals. They are very cautious. They're going to think things through before they take any sort of actions. They're going to be calculating. They're not only just going to think things through, they're going to figure out all the little angles of things and the details around things. They're going to be very competent because they have thought things through. So whenever they make a decision, they know what they're talking about in a lot of ways. They're going to be very conscientious because they're observers. They're seeing a lot of things going on. So they're very aware of their surroundings in a lot of ways. They're very contemplative. So when you tell them something, like, so if you have a client or you think that maybe you're a C or super high C or a task or more reserved oriented individual, you might hear about, health benefits of X, Y, and Z product, or, a certain way to approach your health. And you might go, okay. Almost that picture right there, that guy, okay, let me think about that a little bit. And they're going to be careful because they don't want to make a wrong decision, because making a wrong decision is detrimental to everything above this. If they weren't any of those things and they were quick to rush to judgment, then it's at the core of who they are, that they want to make the right decision because there's
which can occasionally make them have analysis paralysis
or come across very cold.
So when they're out of balance or stress,
they can be very cold. Yep, absolutely.
I can't tell you how many C's that I thought just hated me, and maybe they did.
Right. Well, and I can't tell you, like, we've had very high C's clients that we've worked with that when we started working with them, like, they were attracted to Ashley right off the bat because there's the eyes, like I said, they're very
opposites
inspiring.
attract and then attack.
Opposites attract and then attack. Well, that's what happened. They were very attracted to Ashley, and they were like, "What is she all about? There's something going on here." I want to work with her. They start working with us, and then like a couple of months later, they're like, I don't want to talk to her anymore.
Now, this was a long time ago. I have learned how to adapt to different
and even if you are more balanced and more and understand this stuff, and the other person doesn't, it can be difficult for them. But understanding that they're seeing, going, okay, I'm a really high outgoing, people-oriented person. I might need to take it back a step for this person that I can tell is the more task or reserve-oriented individual.
But often the C's are the smartest one in the room.
They are, because they always make the right decision. So yeah, with this one, I had to start working with them a little bit, and then I showed them this, and it's like seeing a light bulb go off, and people's eyes are just like, oh, so she's not just X, Y. She doesn't just do this and she doesn't do that. That's just kind of who she is, but it's not, there's nothing negative about it. And that just got a completely different perspective on who she was as a person. So,
and I realized that they weren't meanies.
Right.
Okay.
So this is my warning. There's a wall of text coming up, which I think is like the cardinal rule that you never break when you make a PowerPoint presentation, is never create walls of text. I wanted to do this because it's all the tips within one slide, essentially. So like Ashley was saying,
yeah, if you go to unleashingyourdreams.com/me and you get the free slides, you could like screenshot them on your phone or print them off and like put them on the fridge or something, so that it reminds you how to deal with eating and exercise according to your dominant types.
Right. So
cool.
Yeah, jumping into these, like I said, it's a lot. And if you can't quite see them, because our
face over here.
I can put it over here. I don't know if it's going to move it for them though. Okay. So with these are some of the core tips. And this is just literally, I'm telling you, tip of the iceberg with this stuff. We only had like a half hour. I could have done this for like, I could have like a 4-hour class around this. There's a lot of information.
If you take the assessment, we're happy to do a quick, like 15-20 minute connection call to go over this, so you really know how to apply it. Yep,
absolutely. Okay, so some of the core tips for some of those that are outgoing and task oriented, or D's. Dominant. You want to avoid extremes. You're already an extreme person when it comes to the way you approach things. So avoid the extremes, because they can kind of lead to burnout, and watch out for stress, because you'll be more intense than other people. So maybe if you've ever done a workout class and there's that one person that is pushing it so much harder than everybody else, that might be a D or dominant type individual.
Most likely.
Yeah. Avoid using stress as an excuse for eating junk food. This is kind of one of my things, is when I get stressed, like I get so bogged down in a task or something that tries to get done, I'll just go grab something quick and easy to eat, and that can lead down a bad road. Especially when you have to eat now, when you get hangry. I'm not, so you ever see the Snickers commercials where it's like, you need a Snickers and somebody eats it and they're all better. That is true, but not good for you. Don't eat Snickers.
It's blood sugar.
Yeah. Okay. So so control your work schedule to make time to relax. And this is important just outside of like, weight loss goals or fitness or diet goals. This is important just for these types of individuals, because you need time to shut this down for a little bit, which maybe sounds counterintuitive to the high dominant type personalities. Pace yourself to avoid burnout. You are a doer, which means you can overdo it. Typical programs that they recommend signing up for D-type personalities is ones that offer specific step-by-step self-paced routines. They love to be in control. Ds love to be in control of things.
Or competitive though.
So if you can get in on something that you can have a little bit of control over, that's really helpful. Maintain a short list of personal goals you can check off every single day. That's as a higher D-type personality, I love checking something off a box that I did it. It feels really great. Make sure you schedule it. Exercise is a part of, if you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen, or it's less likely to happen. and avoid being so focused on your health if you get into that routine that it negatively impacts other parts of your life. So
well, or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, eyes. If you're out there,
Yeah,
let's have a
outgoing
talk,
and
okay?
people-oriented individuals.
Inspiring types. Okay. This is funny because I actually sometimes have to inspire myself to want to plan ahead and meal prep, right? Because and I like come up and it talks about it down here. I'm like, gonna mush it all together.
Yeah,
that's my type.
Yep.
Because if I don't come up with a rewards or like a fun way to do it with the family, like have the kids involved, I will not plan ahead. And then like, I actually was a little guilty of it today. We didn't have meal prep because all of the meals from everybody bringing meals for the baby were gone. And I grabbed the lactation cookies. So anyways.
Yeah, she baked some cookies for herself.
At least they were like kind of healthy, but
right.
Yeah. Okay. So social eating, now this is true, can be very dangerous. This says especially with desserts, but anything. I get excited, I'm eating, I'm just stuffing my face. And I've learned to not eat while talking. Yeah. And that means I won't eat much because I talk a lot. Yeah. Okay, you'll be at your weakest when you are emotionally drained and down. So true. Set up a personal reward system. Tell friends about your goals. But here's the most important thing. Make it fun and make exercise social. I am telling you, when I go to mom groups and work out together, or I like have a fun group around like, hey, how are you doing with, like cutting out all this junk food, whatever, right? Find a program that will keep you accountable, but still be fun and not be too stressful.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. S's. I think we have about 2-3 minutes.
I think we're
left,
okay.
So
we'll wrap it up quick.
Yep.
Okay. If you're a supportive type, you're a giving, accommodating person. So it's okay to give to yourself and take some me time.
That's why seeing nutrition,
self-care, supportive.
See it as a way of taking care of yourself. I love that.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. I'm sure you've heard that a million times, but your type needs to hear it again. Seek exercise environments that have team activities where you can feel a part of something. Find a friend or a trainer that can support you and encourage you instead of just like drill sergeant you.
But they also need to stretch you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Set a meaningful personal goal, but give yourself plenty of time to achieve it.
Actually, I want to point this one out.
Okay.
Just find a friend or supporter that encourages and strengthens and stretches yourself. So my sister is a high S. I was literally just talking to her today about this training that we were doing. And I was walking it through with her and she doesn't quite know much about this, but she was like, yes, exactly. That's exactly it. And then she starts talking about this personal trainer that we really like. And I know it's probably going to make us run over on time. Okay. I just have to tell this story. And then she's like, honestly, I've learned everything I kind of need to know from him and I'm just good. Like, I don't need to get like super ripped in tone. I've just learned what I needed to take care of, maintain my body. So,
and she can do it like on her own, like
on
that.
her own,
like,
but she's forgetting that one thing to find somebody that's going to encourage you to stretch yourself just a little bit. You can get into a routine or get into a status quo and then stop progressing.
Like things the same. Yeah. Actually, fitness should be switched up every once in a while.
There's seasons with everything.
Metabolism. Yeah. So find someone who likes to do it the same way as you. So you have mutual support. Keep things routine, but enough to stretch yourself. Simple activities. And then half the battle is just getting started because you can struggle with laziness.
Yeah, or the perceived laziness, especially D's will look at S's and be like, why are they so lazy? And it's like, they're not lazy. They're just
slower pace.
Just slower paced. All right, last one. So these are the reserved, task-oriented individuals. Your attention to detail is amazing, but it can keep you from getting started. So be cautious of your food choices. Don't overthink and overanalyze. Don't get analysis paralysis on this stuff. You want to aim for excellence and rather than perfection. What is it called? Perfection is the enemy of excellence is a good phrase. You can track your stuff as much as you want, but also take time to relax. Learning not to worry about every little tiny thing can really slow you down. So one thing that's highly recommended for these types is to research a particular exercise program or something like that, and then just get started. It doesn't need to be perfect. If you don't hit your goal, that's okay, which can be, honestly, I feel like, high C type individuals, it could be
cautious types.
Yeah. It can be difficult if they don't hit a goal because they planned everything out. They thought everything through and then they didn't get exactly where they wanted to be. And it can really frustrate them.
You can tweak it as you go, but yeah, pick something and go.
Yep. Yeah. So like I said, log as much data as you want. Seeing improvements in numbers is a really great motivator for the high C type, the calculating cautious type individuals. So make it a goal, not just to do all the exercises and things like you have today, but also set those counterbalance goals of being able to relax mentally as well. So real quick wrap up on all of these. So here's some secret tips. We're not going to spend too much time on these, but it brings it all back together for you to take a look at again. And what's really nice about this one is you look at it and you see that there's the percentages of the population that are out there that are predominant in these different types. So you can see like 10% of the population is high D,
high dominant.
High
I like
dominant.
to say the name.
Yep. 25 to 30% of the population are high I or inspiring, outgoing people type individuals. Highest population percentage is actually the S, more supportive type people. And then the C's are, there it is, 20 to 25% of the population. So as you can see, the lowest is the D. Thank God. If there was more D's in the world, it would be rough. And that's coming
because
from
then everybody would be fighting for control.
Everyone would be fighting for control more so. All right.
There are D's that are amazing human beings. Did they read those tips or?
Well, yeah, we can go through them. Well,
we can go over these, you guys. With like, if you want to take these, go to that Unleashing Your Dreams right here. .com/me. When you put in your email, don't worry, we don't do spam. We hate that with a passion. We don't blow up your email. In fact, I think you'll get one email. And then you might get like a monthly thing from us. I don't know. But if you go there, you put in your email, you're going to get the link to take the assessment. There's a $12 one, or there's all the way to a $69 one for leadership.
And there's a specific fitness one as well.
Yeah, there's even a specific fitness one. Just take whatever one you have a gut feeling about.
And if you have any trouble, you can just email us there, the strands@unleashingyourdreams.com.
Oh, by the way, if you're a Facebook or Instagram, my middle name is Brooke, Brooke. It's Ashley Brooke Strand. Because
I was supposed to fix that.
You was supposed to fix it. So, but I really would love, obviously, you know, I love people as we went over here. So if you do the assessment and you want to book on our calendar, 15, 20 minutes, I'll go over it with you so that you know your specific blend. So by the way, I'm an ID and with a little bit of S. So every blend will attack this differently, and we'll dive into this differently. So what else? Oh, we're going to do a Q&A in the group. Whether you're just general admission or VIP, I believe there's a Q&A for both of those. So show up to those.
Yep. I think that's it. I think we're over on time already. So I'm gonna end.
I'm excited to connect, and I really hope this helps you master that behavior.
This is the tip of the iceberg with a lot of this stuff. So
we could do hours of this and personal like tweaking it to you, but
all righty.
We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you in the Q&A.
See you in the Q&A. Bye.